Welcome to episode 1 of Create the Things, the show where I help you build the things you wish existed. My name is Andrew Wall. You might know me from major networks and businesses I've built in the past, such as TGN, AWOL Digital, Not Corrupt Media. And in today's episode, I'm going to help you stop overthinking, start creating, and get you to do that first try. Because that's the thing that matters most when you're trying to get your new idea off the ground, that new initiative out there into the world. I'm going to show you how to overcome financial fears, absurd external doubts that are holding you back from being successful and achieving what you want to achieve. And I'm going to help you avoid the pitfalls of perfectionism. I have fallen in that pit so many times and it hurts. So you can be regret-free and you can just get started. Let's go. Here's the main thing. You need to define why you're trying to start this new initiative so that you even have a chance for it to be pulled off and be successful. If you don't know why you're doing it, you're going to, number one, not get started. Number two, run out of steam as soon as you run into headwinds or some distracting thing. Or number three, when the times get really tough, you're just going to ask yourself, why the hell am I even going through all this pain? You need to know it on day one. Very important. If you don't have anyone to talk to about it, that's cool. ChatGPT will talk to you about it and will have no judgment. Tell ChatGPT all your dreams, all your hopes, and help GPT understand why you're doing that new initiative. And it can even help you accomplish it by giving you a plan to do so. So the reason why I created Not Corrupt Media, for example, was I had worked as a corporate executive in media networks, and I saw clients get taken advantage of, teams get taken advantage of, investors get taken advantage of, and most disgustingly, creatives get taken advantage of in the media industry. So I wanted to make a better company so that there'd at least be some option on earth, some place where creatives and all these parties could come together and have a great place to work. I started that with $0 in revenue, literally here in this extra bedroom in my house. And because I knew that was my why, I told every single person I recruited, every single client I brought on board, why I was building that business. And it was actually the number one hook that got me the talent and the business to turn that from $0 to $1 million in the first year with no investors. So the point is, if you tie in your personal passion for doing something into the business, into the initiative, when the times get tough, you'll be able to push through. And the reason why you're doing it is going to draw in more success. And it's going to be like a magnet for other people to come on board to help you accomplish it. The number one thing people fear when maybe trying to go from an employee specifically to being self-employed and doing a side hustle, building your own business, that kind of thing, of course, is the fear of money. So the fear of funds can be paralyzing, especially if you have a spouse, you got kids, you got parents relying on you. Various other financial situations can make it very difficult to overcome that fear of a lack of financial security. So when I started TGN, I overcame my financial fear of quitting my full-time employee job to go be self-employed by requiring a deposit from the co-founder of that business who was co-founding with me for the first month pay. And just by having the money in the bank for that first month, there could have been no month 2 or 3 or 4, just by having that money there up front, that deposit up front, it made it feel real, like I could actually make money doing this initiative. Also, one thing you can do if you're trying to make the transition from being an employee to self-employed is having a backup plan. And one of the best backup plans, if you're good at your job that you're doing right now, is just making sure you have a great relationship with managers and business owners so you can always go back to your old job if things went south. I straight up talked to my boss at that time, told him I was doing this crazy internet startup. And I said, if it goes bust in 2 months, can I come back and work here? And they said, absolutely. All of my stress melted away because I knew if everything collapsed, I'd be fine and I could go back to having a job again. Contingency plans matter, and having just a little bit of revenue in the bank or in your account or in your wallet when you're leaping from being an employee to being self-employed can help you overcome that fear. A huge challenge to overcome is people thinking you're crazy. people that are currently in your zone that you're at as you're leapfrogging to new opportunities. If you're an employee and you're trying to be self-employed, when you talk to other employees about maybe doing a side hustle or doing an internet thing or starting your own business, they're going to tell you about how crazy you are, how it's too risky, and why would you even think about doing that? Don't you have a great job, et cetera, et cetera. In 2007, when I started making YouTube content on the internet, esports and YouTube content and gaming content sounded literally insane to everyone I mentioned it to. It was actually a huge mistake for me to even talk with anyone who was in the employee world about it. I then realized I need to talk with people that are already where I want to be. They're already taken the step to the next phase of their career. So I ended up talking to people that were already self-employed or were already business owners, and supportive colleagues like Andrew Perrin, I still work with him today, George Van Oos, guys I would talk with every single day, text with every day, that would be encouraging. They talk about how they were making startups and share with me their momentum. Being a part of a crew that is already at the next step that you want to be at is where you want to be. Don't ever talk with people that are at your previous step you're trying to move away from about how you're going to get away from that. They are going to feel offended that you even suggested it. And they're going to feel violated that you would even want to move away from the opportunity that you're currently doing with them, that job you're doing with them. And they're going to tell you why that's a bad idea because they're scared. If you move away from that opportunity, that says to them subconsciously, they're making a mistake by being left behind. You don't want to be influenced by those types of people. Trust me. Surround yourself with people who believe in your future, where you're going, not people that live in your past. So the transition from being an employee to being self-employed is actually the most difficult transition to make. Overcoming those financial and self-doubt issues and not having the right people to talk to, for example, is really, really challenging. And be patient with yourself as you're trying to make that mental shift to move over. For example, when I was in New York working at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, I was the technical director over there for that hotel. They had me working from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. every day running live audiovisual events. When I got off work at 11 p.m., I would create videos on my computer in my little apartment from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day. And then I'd wake up the next day and start all over again. So the point is, don't just jump out of being an employee to being self-employed. You need to hold down that day job, and you need to be ready to grind in all of your off hours possible to get that new thing up and running. And it's really important to note that making some sort of 300-page business plan is not needed. You just need to get your minimum viable product out there. You're going to suck right out the gate. And so you need to get reps off your minimum viable product over and over and over again. Put the time and effort into that instead of making the 300-page business plan. Trust me. So what's an MVP? An MVP is a minimum viable product. You would be shocked how many executives I've worked with that make big 6-figure salaries for businesses that have tens of millions in funding that don't even know what an MVP is. They just create some giant set of features and things they're going to try to do. They stumble through it and then they run out of money and they go bankrupt. That's why 90% of startups fail, is because most of them don't even know what their minimum viable product is. Guess what? There's a shortcut to you understanding that by yourself. You don't need anyone to help you. It's called ChatGPT or other chat-based AI tools. You pick yours. ChatGPT is my favorite. Sit down, talk to the AI for hours. Tell it your hopes, tell it your dreams, tell it your background, tell it to research you, tell it what you're trying to accomplish, and then ask it to act as a COO to work with you on whatever it is you're trying to get out the door. In my case with this show, I told it to act as my executive producer, and it'll actually tell you what to do and refine your ideas for you. For example, this show, Create the Things, I came up with this idea less than 48 hours ago. And so I'm going to go from idea to fully published with all of the platforms, the website, and the whole nine in less than 48 hours. I have $1 million agency I could have tapped into. I've got treasuries I could have tapped into. No. No, I get the concept. You're not aiming at perfection here. You just want to get momentum. And here's another thing. Whenever you decide to get your thing off the ground, don't tell anyone. Don't even tell your most trusted people in your life that you're doing this. Just do it. Every single person you tell is going to have some feedback. They're going to offer some solution. They're going to tell you maybe some reason you shouldn't do it. They might remind you of your responsibilities. They may tell you all sorts of things. Literally anyone that you talk to about your thing you're trying to get out the door, that first version of it is going to hold you back. All you need to do is talk to AI. All you need to do is get the first version of it out the door, get it published, get it on the internet, get it wherever it needs to be, and don't talk to anyone. Every time you talk to someone about your idea, you're thinking about your book, your Etsy store, your blog, every time you talk to somebody about that dream you're thinking about maybe doing one day, it makes it less possible for it to happen. Think of it as like you have a certain amount of energy inside of you, in your battery, in your heart, in your soul, whatever you want to call it. And every single time you talk about something you're thinking about doing, that podcast you're thinking about starting, you're draining that energy, and that battery goes down, 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 until eventually it's out of energy and you're out of batteries and you no longer have the motivation to actually do the thing. So just execute and don't tell a soul. No one. And here's one more thing. I've got a 48-hour challenge for you. I challenge you to do what I just did with this show in the next 48 hours. If I can launch this whole show in 2 days with my wife, my kids, my financial responsibilities, the obligations I have to my community and my friends, the multiple businesses I run, etc. Everybody's busy, right? You can too, okay? So if that means doing something as low lift and MVP as recording 5 minutes on your phone and just posting it, do it. If that means just writing the first chapter to your book as a blog, do it, okay? There's AI tools that can help you with this stuff. If this is just using an AI website generator just to get your website out there to capture emails for your concept, just do just that one thing, just do it. 48-hour challenge. You can do this. Action beats perfection every single time. So unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. And so here's your key things to remember. Number one, define your why. Why are you trying to create this new thing that you wish existed? Number two, don't tell anyone, not even the most trusted people in your life. Just do it. And number three, do a pilot and MVP launch in just 48 hours. Just do one of the things on the to-do list for that particular thing and just get it out there within 48 hours. That's that. And I'll help you do it. Go to createthethings.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter, and I will send you immediately a free 48-hour checklist, an immediate resource you can download that breaks down the steps on how you can come up with an idea, make sure you know why you want to do it, put it together, and release a first version, which is great for staying accountable. And guess what I'm selling you when you sign up for that newsletter? Nothing. It's that easy. I just want to see you create the things that you wish existed. You have no more excuses anymore, especially in the age of AI and crowdfunding. So go build your thing. Do it. And I'll see you in the next episode of Create the Things.